Do you ever feel like there isn't enough hours in the day to accomplish everything on your to-do list? Do you feel like you're overwhelmed with the amount of messages and other things that you have to do as a career coach? Maybe you're wearing multiple hats. Maybe it's just you and your business and you have to do everything from lead generation, from sales calls, from coaching, from being the operations manager, from doing accounting and bookkeeping to doing taxes. Well, look, my friends, that is not a problem that's uniquely to you. That is a problem that every entrepreneur faces and every career coaches that I ever met faces. And the reality is that not all time are created equal. There are some tasks in your day that are more high value and more impactful to the overall success of your business than others, right? If we ever heard of the 80-20 rule, we know that 20% of our actions actually generate 80% of the results. And it's identifying what those things are and how we can do more of that that's going to actually drive the growth of our business. And this is what this video is all about. This video is all about helping you buy back your time, helping you focus on the things that are really going to drive your business forward while delegating, deleting, and automating all the things that won't. So if we have not yet met, now my name is Dan Martell and I've been a career coach for over 10 years. And I make videos like this to help fellow career coaches build a more profitable, impactful, and scalable business. And this video that you are watching, and I want you to finish watching, it's all about the concept of understanding time and how to buy it. Because the reality is this: building a scalable, profitable, and impactful career coaching business does require a lot of work, but the majority of that work doesn't need to be you. And so I want to be able to show you how to own back your time, how to buy it back, and be able to scale your business. So to do that, I wanted to create this document. Out of all transparency, I had my team create this document because I'm practicing everything that I am teaching you here. And what we're going to talk about in this document is, one, why is time the most valuable resource in the world? So you probably know that already, but let me kind of give you my thoughts on it. Number two, how to buy back your time as an entrepreneur career coach. And three, how to scale your business using labor and tech. Okay, so why do we need time, right? At the end of the day, time is the most valuable resource in the world. And in life, it's really a trade-off of time and money, right? You can either take the time to learn something, or B, pay someone to teach you what you would have taken you 6 months, a year, 2, 3 years, 10 years to learn, and compress that learning. And that's one of life's biggest shortcuts. It's the reason why job seekers should work with career coaches like you, because if not, they're going to take longer to get a job, not knowing where to apply. And because of your vast knowledge, a job seeker can pay you to buy back their time in the job search process, right? And it works like that in every single aspect of your business to be able to understand how to do that. Now, a lot of what we're going to be talking about in this video is coming from a book that was really impactful to me by Dan Martell. It's called Buy Back Your Time. So a lot of the concepts like your buyback rate and how to do a time audit comes from Dan himself, but I wanted to show you how this applies to your career coaching business. Now, the first thing that we want to talk about is the 4 leverage points. And this here, I don't even believe this is from Dan Martell himself. This is actually somebody else. Talks about the 4 leverage points to buy back your time as a grand scheme, right? If you want to build something great, then you need to understand that you're going to have to use one of these 4 or a combination of these 4 things to be able to do it. So let's dive into each of those things. Number 1, 4 leverage points to buy back time. Media. Right, what I'm doing here on this YouTube video, I am recording this content. It's going to take me about 30 minutes to an hour to record this. And my hope is that hundreds, if not thousands of people see this. So 1 hour of me is going to be able to be worth, and say 100, 200, 3 hours of other people watching this. That is a leverage point, right? It would have taken me a long time if I am presenting this presentation on a one-to-one basis, which wouldn't be really efficient or effective. That is a way of using leverage in media. Now, we are really good to do this in LinkedIn, right? As career coaches, we are using social media to leverage the growth of our audience to get new clients, and we're using media to do that. Number 2 is labor, right? We're buying back our time. So when you're paying an employee, when you're paying a VA, when you're paying a contractor, you are paying for their time, right? And so that is another way of leveraging. There's a lot of things that need to happen in your business. It's maybe some lead gen, graphic designing, video editing. Instead of me doing all those things myself, I am paying someone. I am using labor as a way to maximize my time, right? Just to give you an example, I have a team of over 25 employees that work like full time at Opni, right? If you multiply that times 40 hours, I think it's over 800 hours, correct my entrepreneurship math, right? There's 800 hours of people's time working on my business. And look, there's not enough time in a week for me to do that even if I work 24 hours a day. So that allows my business to grow dramatically using labor because my business is being worked on and I'm using leverage to that. So to me, I would say that labor is the number one way I am using to scale my business, media being the second best way that I am using, which is why I have this channel. This is why I have a podcast. This is why I am on LinkedIn. Number 3 is tech. We can use technology, code, software, SaaS products to save our time. One of my favorite tools is Calendly, right? Instead of me going back and forth trying to figure out a time that works for you, that works for me, I can send you a link to my Calendly, right? I can go right here, go to Calendly, copy this link, and I'll be able to just within seconds send this to a potential person that I'm trying to have a network call with, and then they can go ahead and schedule a time to meet, and it makes it really efficient. So that is using code or tech to be able to leverage that. Same thing if I use Kajabi for my course creation. Same thing if I'm using Loom, right? This is all using technology to leverage and buy back my time in a more efficient way. And last but not least, capital, right? Because if I have capital, if I have money, I can use that for buying tech. I can use that to hire employees. I can use that to do paid ads to increase my influence, to increase my leverage in any of those departments. So I think it's important for you to audit and say, okay, which one of these do I want to focus on? Maybe you have a large following, but you don't have a way to monetize it. Well, you have media and as a way as your number one leverage point. Maybe you have a lot of savings, a lot of money. Maybe you can use time to build your career coaching business faster because you can then use your money, your capital to invest in coaches, to invest in paid ads, to invest in tech, to facilitate this process, to hire employees, and so on. So I think you guys get the drill. Capital can unlock a lot of them. And so it's figuring out which ones you want to focus. I will tell you, me personally, Dan Martell, I've used a combination of all 4, but my strongest points are labor and media. And the idea is that we're getting better at tech and capital. So here are some things to really understand when we talk about level of time trading. You have employee, which is trading time for money, which equals income. You have entrepreneur, which you're trading money for time that gives you more money. And then you have empire building, which is where I aspire to get, where you're trading your money for money, which equals freedom. And this right here, I think is really important because a lot of times I see career coaches that say, hey, Daniel, I am still trading my time for money, but I'm not an employee. And then my reply to them, and this might hurt, if you hear this, if it hurts you, then this should be like an aha moment, is if you are still at a point where you're a career coach and you're trading your time for money, you don't have a business, you bought yourself a job. Anytime that you're trading time for money, you are not a business owner yet. Like maybe technically you are, but that's the goal. You need to free yourself from time for money to going for time for value. Time for money from time for value. So that's besides, it's another video, but I just didn't want to emphasize that because that's really important. Whenever you're trading time for money, you're just an employee. You're on the labor side, and we want to change that. So most career coaches get stuck trading their time for money. At this point, oh look, my team, they just know me so well. I love this. So the game is how we leverage to buy back our time. So how do you buy back your time as an entrepreneur, as a career coach? I would tell you there's 3 steps. Number 1 is identifying what is your buyback rate, meaning how much you can afford to delegate out, like dollar-wise. Number 2, doing a time audit. We're going to do all these exercises together. And number 3, going and delegating it out. So number 1, the example, and this is from the book, which is understanding your buyback rate, is understanding what dollar you can afford to delegate and lower. So I am doing this on an easy math. Let's say you're making $100,000. Maybe you are working full time. Maybe that's how much you took home from your career coaching business last year. Whatever that is, let's say that your income last year was $100,000. We then want to divide that by around 2,000 hours, which is if you multiply 40 hours a week times 52 weeks is going to be around 2,080. But for easy math, we're going to do 2,000 hours. And that 2,000 hours will get you to understand that your buyback rate is $50. $50. Now, I wouldn't suggest you delegate anything that's below $50 because then you're not getting a return on your investment, right? So what I would say is very, very safely, conservatively, if you can delegate anything below $17 or $16.60, which gives you a 3x return on your money, it's a bargain, especially if you don't like to do it. So my rule of thumb, if I'm making $100,000, which I make significantly more than that, but I'm just doing this for math purposes, if I don't like doing it, like for example, cutting the grass or cleaning the house or washing the car, and let's say it takes me 2 hours to cut the grass, 3 hours to cut the grass, that's going to be $150. That's how much it is. So if I can delegate cutting the grass for a quarter, like for 1/3 of that, it should be a no-brainer. Probably even half of that, because I hate cutting the grass with a passion. So that's where it's really important for you to take the time to understand what is your backpack rate, and then that takes us to the next stage, to understanding what do we audit, how auditing our time, so that we know what to delegate. So here's the thing that we're going to do. Step 2, we're going to audit our time. Where are we spending time? Because when you put it in a document like this, right, and you track your time, this is what we're essentially going to be building. You're going to be able to know how many hours you're working, what are the things that you enjoy doing, and so on. So the first thing we want to do is list all the things that you do for your business in an Excel sheet. And by the way, we have a template here that you can use, you can download, you can kind of essentially use as an example. And you're going to see everything that I do in my business. And for every 15 to 30 minutes, an hour, like I want to make sure it's there. So I block my time in 30-minute intervals. That's the first step. The second step is adding how much time you spend on it. So you list all the tasks. You put how much time you're spending on it. I went ahead and added categories, like what part of my business am I doing? Is this going to be a messaging, admin, leadership? Is this marketing / content creation? Is this coaching or client success? Buffers, anything other like that maybe is hard to categorize. Is this personal development, strategy, HR, relationship / networking, or is this sales? Then I went and I put it the day of the week, just so that it gives me an idea. And then on the type of business. So right now I have 2 main businesses. I am trying to make them all into one. So I'm going through that transition, but I want to see where I'm spending my time. Not necessarily the type of business, but the type of product. I have 2 different offerings. And the last thing we want to do is add a $ to it. Like $ meaning kind of like when you go to Google and you're looking at restaurants and Google gives you like $1 to $4 It's the same thing. For me, I put anything that's $1 is a task that is either worth $0 to $29 an hour to do, or that I can hire someone to do, right? $2 is 30 to 100, 100 to 500, and then 500 plus. And then the last thing you want to do is then color code it. Red is things that drain my energy. Green are things that I love to do and bring me joy. And then white are just like in the middle. Like it doesn't make me happy, but it doesn't make me sad. So that's kind of do that. And when I do this, I now have the information I need to know what to delegate. Now, mind you, this is my 6th year as a full-time entrepreneur. I have a team of 25 people. I'm already an expert delegator. So a lot of the things that I don't like to do, I am already delegating. Now, if you are a solopreneur, or maybe you and a couple of VAs, this will look vastly different. So just know that as you are using this as a template. But I had my assistant do this on a weekly basis, and you can see that this is really good because we even started adding how are these things related to my big rocks. If you've read the book Traction, you know what big rocks are, but what are the 3 main focuses that I am doing this quarter? Because I want to make sure that I am spending 85% of my time on those really high valuable things that are doing. Now, you're going to see a lot of greens here. And the reason why is because, again, I've been doing this for a long time. I've designed my business and my life to serve me versus the other way around. And so this is important. Now, it's also really important that you're doing this for more than just 1 week, because you want to get more of an average, right? Not every week looks the same in business world and as a business owner. And so sometimes you're traveling, sometimes you're vacationing. Like, that's not going to be a fair assessment. So we did it for a couple of weeks, as you can see here, because this gave me a better idea of how I'm actually spending my time, and also relative to my big rocks. That's really, really key here. And so you're going to be able to see that. Now, that's where it becomes really powerful, because now we can go into understanding what to delegate, right? And you're going to be able to see, okay, I'm spending a lot of time video editing. Could I go outsource a video editor on Fiverr? I'm spending a lot of time doing lead gen. Could I go hire a VA to do lead gen for me, right? I'm spending a lot of time on sales calls. Do I have enough sales calls to go hire a really good salesperson or a part-time salesperson? And I think those are the questions that you need to understand. This also applies to your personal life. Like, this also applies to the things that you can delegate in your personal lives. Like, so to me, having a cleaning lady and having somebody that that cuts our grass, somebody that does our car wash, someone that does lead gen, video, podcasting, and an assistant are all no-brainers for me, right? That are really, really important for me to delegate. And I've had the same cleaning lady for 10 years. Right? I have had a lot of these people doing the services for me for a long time. I first actually started delegating things in the house, and then I started delegating things in the business, and that also works as well, right? And I think that takes us to point number 3, is how do you scale your business, right? And to me, labor, and especially hiring a VA from a different country, it's been a game changer for me. And it's been a game changer because I'm able to find talent that if they were in America, I would have to pay them $75,000, but in a different country, that is a lot less. And that's exactly why part of our, like, one of the fastest growing services that we provide at Opni is VAs for our clients, because we're able to provide a full-time $40 an hour like employee that's equivalent to hiring somebody for $40,000 to $75,000 in the US for less than $25,000 a year. And that includes vacation, benefits, pension, and everything. And that is massive amount of leverage. And so to me, it's really, really important to do that. Now, here's the important thing to note, is that when you start scaling your business is where systems and processes become even more important, because the better your systems and processes that you have, the less qualified you can find someone to do the task, which means the less that you have to pay, which means the more you get a bang for your buck, right? And I think that's the important here, is that the better your systems and processes, the more detailed your SOP, the less qualified the person that's following the process needs to be. And that is key here, because if you think about it like this, let's think about McDonald's, right? Most of their employees that are working at the restaurant making the Big Macs can come in, interview for the job. They can tell them, hey, can you start tomorrow? And within an hour or so, they are making the famous Big Mac. And I think that's important to note, that the reason why they can do that is because how well has McDonald's documented the process of making the burger and fries, right? They know, and they systemize it so well. They have machines, even like the bottle of their, like, we know, if they say this is the ketchup bottle and they squirt it, the holes on it are perfectly designed to give the same amount of ingredients, ketchup and sauce to every single burger, no matter if they're in Orlando, Florida, or in Medellin, Colombia. And that system allows it to be like foolproof, so it doesn't matter how experienced that the person is. They didn't have to go to culinary school. They didn't have to go to 4-year university to be able to follow that process. And I think that is where I think it becomes a game changer to you, is as you're hiring and buying back your time, you are in the beginning going to spend some time building the systems and processes. The better the detail, the more screenshots, the more Loom videos you can provide, the better you're going to be able to do that. And then you can delegate pretty much everything. And I want to show you guys an example of one of those tasks that I do. It's going to be funny, but I think it's important, right? So this is kind of how I delegate things to my administrative assistant. And I even say, for example, this is like a board like scheduling your haircut. Well, I made a Loom video that I then share with her on how she can schedule my sales call, right? How she can schedule my hair appointment. Because here in this haircut, you can see here that I have the link to schedule my hair appointment. And then I recorded a video, like this simple task, of me showing her how to do it. Right? So we go here. And so it's funny because at the end of this, she then books my haircut appointments, and she knows that I get a haircut every 3 weeks. So then she just does it. And I even say towards the end, I'm just trying to see the part of it, that I'm even showing her how to look at my calendar and be able to plan for driving time and so on. So I just make it so simple for her. Okay, so this is the part where I'm saying, hey, like, how you not only have to schedule the barber, but you have to also you also have to set time for planning for driving there and driving back. And again, if I make it feels so silly, but I promise you it's going to save you so much time. Now, I'm obviously giving you a really funny example here, but it's you could do that for anything that you have, the way you want them to check your emails, the way that you want them to manage your calendar, and so on. Now, what I found is that there's 4 steps to delegation when you're hiring a VA to do something. And the first is they watch, and you can do it in person, but also you can also do it where you're on a Zoom call, you record the Zoom call, you're sharing your screen, and they're just they're just watching you do the task. They can always go watch the recording and so on. The second stage of this delegation process is they do together with you. So like I will do one message on lead gen, they will do the other message. I will like let them do it and I kind of correct them. So it's like more hands-on on doing it. And the third is they do, you watch. So now it's backwards. They're sharing their screen. They're doing all of it. And you're just watching and maybe very little feedback, but you're just watching. And then when you feel really comfortable, they do alone. And when you can do that, you're going to be able to delegate everything out. And if you can record Zooms on it and create SOPs, that's going to be a game changer. This is the reason why you're going to see a lot of my YouTube videos are in this type of document. This is an SOP. This is an SOP on how to buy back your time, except that this is not for a VA. This is for you, career coaches. I'm also trying to like foolproof give you a way to do it. And this is a step-by-step. So if you're like, hey, Daniel, I don't know what an SOP should look like. I don't even know how to create it. Use this document. This is it. This can be the name of your SOP. This SOP is the how to buy back your time, and it's walking you step by step. And so if you wanted to do this, you would just follow it too. And if you wanted your assistant to do the time tracker for you, you just give them the template and be like, hey, watch this YouTube video. Go ahead and look at my calendar, put all this together, and then you can go back and color coordinate it and put the dollar signs. And then that is an amazing way to do it as well. Let me go down to see what else we are here. So that's the thesis here. The idea is important. Like here's, like as I wrap up this video, I think what you need to understand and know that you're watching this is that building a successful business requires a lot of work. It requires a lot of time, but if you're leveraging your time, you're going to be able to do this very successfully. I have met very successful entrepreneurs that work less than 20 hours a week. I've also met very successful entrepreneurs that work 100 hours a week. And the reality is, how are you leveraging your time? How are you using media? How are you using labor? How are you using code or technology? And how are you using your capital to buy back your time? And if you find value in this and you want to learn more about our VA service, if you want to learn more about how we work with clients and give them standard operating procedures and systems so that they can scale their business more efficient, all I say is schedule a call with us. Schedule a call with me. When you schedule a call, these calls are absolutely free. It will take you to this Calendly link. You can pick a time to speak with me or my team, and we can talk about your particular situation. What are your goals? What's your timeline? What is your aspirations? And if my team and I feel like we can help you accomplish those goals that you've set for yourself, and we can help you buy back your time by giving you systems, process is connecting you with a VA, then we will let you know. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoy this video and that this 15 minutes is able to buy you 1,500 hours in the future. I appreciate you more than you know. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do so now. I appreciate you guys. See you guys in the next video. Bye.